The Center for Public Interest came into existence 5 years ago. It was an effort by the firm to make our charitable giving, our pro bono work, the volunteer efforts that our individual lawyers and staff engaged in more impactful. When we approach public service, we're not just looking for sort of flash-in-the-pan project.
That's unique because it allows us to make connections with organizations in different ways than we could if we were just providing legal services.
The firm has played an incredible role providing pro bono legal advice to us over the last 10, 15, 16 years. But we've also had the blessing of having employees and associates in the kitchen helping us to prepare meals, deliver meals. The power of that, I think, for members of the firm is the directness in which you can touch somebody's life. Incredible generosity of the firm and the forward thinking in terms of reaching out to the community and playing a really significant role in the community.
What we are trying to do is to continue to develop programs for communities and individuals in those communities so that we can provide access to justice for individuals and organizations that couldn't otherwise afford them.
I think trying to make it as an artist, as a working artist in the city, and not knowing much about what my own legal rights are is a little scary.
We represented an artist recently. The artist was a visual artist in the community who had been hired to paint a large mural on the wall of a restaurant in the neighborhood. The individual artist then had some problems getting paid.
They hire you for a project, you sign a contract, you finish a project, they'll pay you. It doesn't always work that way.
We found an associate in our corporate department, of all things, who was very interested in taking the case. And the corporate associate and the artist worked together to develop a legal strategy. We worked with the artist and the contractor to eventually result in a complete payout to our client for what the artist was owed. The client now obviously can feel free to walk by the mural and feel the same pride in it that the rest of the neighborhood has in the mural.
They really respected me in my time and made me feel like going out and doing more projects like this, I don't need to be scared, I can be confident.
It was a pleasure working with Krista in particular, and also to know that we were doing something for the community, and particularly the artists in the community. At the same time, being able to use my skills to give back a little bit. So I was very enthusiastic and excited about this.
I can certainly think of specific cases and specific people and specific grants, many of them, that have made a huge difference in people's lives. But I find it most enjoyable for me to sort of close my eyes and take a walk through the city. And I can do that in Boston, I can do that in Providence, Hartford, New York. You can walk to the South End to Boston Medical Center, where you will find that there are children who are getting their first book when they visit their pediatrician through a program called Reach Out and Read. You can walk a little bit more to the left and you can go over to Rosie's Place, a homeless shelter for women, and in some cases their children. A shelter that was created in part through the pro bono labor of attorneys at BrownRudnick.
The volunteers play a critical role because we usually only have 1 or 2 staff members, and which is not possible to put out a meal for 150 people with 2 people. So right now you see they're getting ready, they're starting the openers, working on the entree today, which I don't know what it is, but and then at 11:30 the doors will open and the women will come in.
I love Rosie's Place. I mean, they do such great things there. And people, I don't think, understand the full reach of what they do. And that's part of my joy in representing Rosie's Place over the years, is that I've learned, well, it's not just emergency shelter.
I mean, yes, we help keep them alive. Yes, we give them lunch and dinner and all kinds of support services. But the most important thing, I think, personally, is that they can come in here, they're welcomed, this is their home, we're glad they're here.
I see my role as making sure that Rosie's Place can fulfill its mission.
They've helped us with very difficult and unavoidable matters in terms of a variety of legal issues that we would not be able to resolve without their help, and consequently they've saved us a huge amount of money that we don't have to pay for legal costs, and that money can go directly towards helping poor and homeless women and children.
3 years ago, the Connecticut legislature determined that because of the toxicity of mercury, that we needed to virtually eliminate it from our environment here in Connecticut. But under the Connecticut Department of Environmental Protection's reading of the statute, a Connecticut dentist could continue to put this sort of product in someone's mouth. And some studies have attributed at least 50% of the mercury found in our environment here in Connecticut to a dentist's use of mercury. I think the reality is, if a firm like BrownRudnick didn't step in and do something like this, it just wouldn't get done. If a consumer or if a not-for-profit had to fund this on their own, it would literally cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in litigation costs. We're actually representing many of the citizens of the state of Connecticut. And if we're successful, it's going to have a positive impact on literally everybody in Connecticut.
I live in the neighborhood. I'm a neighborhood resident. This is about my neighborhood. This is about redeveloping this for my kids, for my neighbors, for me. This right over here is the Brazza restaurant, and for about 25 years this was a vacant building. It's the old Colonial Theater building that was built in the 1920s. The Colonial Theater Renaissance Corp got some money from the government to redevelop it, and BrownRudnick's job was to assist the redevelopment. If BrownRudnick wasn't there, this would probably still be an eyesore with boarded up windows and a big fence around it and a trash heap. It's acted as a catalyst for redevelopment of the neighborhood. BrownRudnick has a passionate commitment to this project, to getting it done, and we have the support of management and the support of the associates and the partners, and through that passion we were able to make this happen.
These kids couldn't afford the $300 or $400 in art supplies they would need the first day.
For many of them, it's the high point of their time at citizen schools.
You never could justify hiring a lawyer because the fee would be more than small claims court, so you don't get the benefit of that.
First reaction always being that, well, we'll just have to serve less children. Now there are choices for them.
So it really was this gap that was wonderfully filled.
The Foundation's mission is to help improve inner city education primarily, and we do that in a variety of ways in terms of assisting financially a number of nonprofit organizations. We have a Center for Public Interest. The Foundation is one of the three legs of that center. We're different in that much of what we do involves the firm as a whole, and not just lawyers making a financial contribution.
And we don't stop just with the money. We try, in most instances, when we give a grant, to pair the money with volunteer time and with pro bono legal representation.
As a very young attorney, I had the opportunity to do pro bono work here. And it was very useful, both for me, developmentally, and I thought it was a very useful, important thing to do socially.
Representing pro bono clients, they need you in a different way. They need you to a greater degree. And it's nice to provide that sort of service to say, wow, this is what you know, I can the real change that I can bring to a person or an entity's life.
It's wonderful to be financially successful. It's wonderful to be regarded at the top of your profession. But it's magnificent to be able to use those skills and those abilities and those resources to also improve the community and improve the world. That's why BrownRudnick is a premier firm.